My 17M sister, 18F, decided to get a pixie cut. She had for about 2 weeks now, and now she hates it. She came to me and told me that it's embarrassing my hair is longer than hers, and she wants me to shave my head. I told her that I would not shave my head, and that if she doesn't like how her hair is, she should just get a wig instead. She told me that she doesn't have money to buy a wig, and so I told her to ask our parents to get her one. And she told me that she wasn't going to do that because they were the ones who advised her not to cut her hair in the first place, and it'll be embarrassing to admit that they were right. She then again asked me to cut my hair, and I told her no. She then got mad at me and told me that no man actually cared about their hair, and if I wanted to be a girl so bad, I should just say that instead. This pissed me off, so I told her that it wasn't my fault she was a bald-headed broke bitch, and if she wanted to get a wig, she should just get a job instead. She was not happy when I called her bald-headed and went to go tell our parents. Our parents got mad at both of us for arguing, and then after they got done yelling at us, my dad told me that he wants me to pay for my sister's wig. He told me that I had to pay for her wig because what I said to her was disrespectful. He said what she said was wrong, but what I said was worse. I told him that I only said that because she kept antagonizing me. He kept insisting that me paying for the wig was going to be my punishment, and he'll think of something for her. I told him that I've been saving my money since I started working, and I wasn't going to spend any of it on her. I told my dad that if he takes money out of my account, that I wasn't going to speak to him until he puts everything back. Because knowing my sister, she's probably going to try and pick the most expensive one. My parents are upset with me because they said I'm trying to run away from accountability and that they find it unreasonable that I would try and punish them for that. I don't see why they can't pay for it themselves. Yesterday, my ex-boyfriend and I, who have been dating for a bit over 7 months, had plans to hang out. We planned to go bowling, so I got a Groupon and paid ahead. Before bowling, my BF decided he wanted to go to a wine and cheese place. I pointed out how expensive it is, as I had just paid rent and my student loan payment, so I could not afford it. He assured me he wanted to go and he would pay for it. This was confirmed several other times. When we got there, I decided I wanted a little food because I hadn't eaten in a while after working all day. I said I wanted to get the $13 mac and cheese and I'd pay for it myself, but he said not to worry about it. He then proceeds to order a bottle of wine and 2 cheese boards without my input on how much we should order. We proceed to have a really nice and enjoyable time together, I thought at least. At the end, when we get the bill, he tells me, does not ask, tells me, to send him $60. I am a bit shocked and ask if he's serious. I point out that he insisted several times that he wanted to go here and he would pay, as I don't have the money right now to spend on something like this. He gets very angry and says that this shows him who I really am. He continues saying that and says, what if I couldn't afford the tab? You wouldn't help me. I told him I obviously would help in a case like that. But he insisted on going here and paying and didn't even ask me to help. I pointed out that it was essentially a command, and he told me that if he tells me to do something, I should do it. My BF pays, gets up and leaves, and I get up to follow and trail behind. He turned around as I was on my phone behind him and asked if I was ordering an Uber for myself. I said no, and he told me, I wish you were. This immediately makes me start crying, and I turn around and walk across the street to the nearest bench to sit down. He continues walking away and disappears. I get a call 5 minutes later, and he asks where I am. I told him I went across the street to sit on the bench, and he said he doesn't see me, then immediately goes back into the argument. I try to explain my perspective again, and he ends up hanging up on me. He does not come back and does not contact me again. It was dark at this time, and he left me alone, drunk and crying, on the street. We both live in a highly populated area. He didn't even check to see if I got home and was safe or anything. I texted him one time to point out how he completely ditched me and didn't even care to see if I got home safe. So he has made it clear that he doesn't care about me. Perhaps a bit dramatic? I don't think so, though. He just answers after a bit, that's crazy. Okay, I have since blocked him. AITA for not helping to pay when he told me to. I know he will very likely see this. He told me a few times in the past to post our arguments on Reddit so that I'd see that I'm wrong. So, all right, let's see this time. I'm a babysitter to a 10-year-old with cancer. It is by far the easiest test slash cushiest job I've ever had. When Ava is in the hospital, she's either napping or playing with friends. All I have to do is make her lunch, make her do her homework, push her IV pole when she walks, and help when she needs to use the bathroom. Get her on off the toilet, she can do the rest. When she's not in the hospital, we have a lot of fun. Her mom lets me take her anywhere or do anything with her as long as she comes back alive. No budget, and I get reimbursed for everything. We've gone to arcades, amusement parks, ice skating, movies, museums, etc., and I honestly love hanging out with her. On top of this, her mom spoils me. Every morning when I get to work, she asks if I've eaten. If I say no, she gives me $20 for breakfast and coffee. If I babysit at night, she gives me $1.50 to DoorDash food for myself, in case I get hungry. And if I don't use it, she tells me to think of it as a bonus. This is on top of having free reign of the pantry. My suitcase was lost after a 2-week vacation, and her mom gave me $150 to buy some clothes until my suitcase was recovered. I travel with the family 3 times a year and get an all-expenses-paid trip to work 5 hours a day, paid at 1.5x my normal rate, so the mom can go out with her other kids while Ava rests. I tell my sister all about this job. She recently lost her job and decided to start babysitting. She has a 5-year-old girl and 8-year-old boy and hates it. She makes less than me for more kids with more energy. She doesn't get money for food when she babysits. She doesn't get to take the kids anywhere she wants and get paid for it. She doesn't get to hang out on her phone for 3 hours a day. And the parents aren't as nice as Ava's mom. Apparently, I led her to believe that every job was going to be as cushy as mine by always talking about it, and she blames me for her hating her job. Our mom thinks I should have told her that not every family is going to be like Ava's, and that I should have warned her that it could be hard. Ida for not warning her that not every job is like mine, and that she'd have to work if she got a babysitting job. I'm a 19-year-old woman currently in college. I come from a churchy family, and there was a big fight 2 years ago when I decided to get a septum piercing and a nose ring. My parents thought it was trashy and whorish, and that only awful people get piercings like that and display them for everyone. I'm not really religious, but I've read a lot of the Bible, and in one of the fights I pointed out that the biblical matriarch Rebecca, the wife of Isaac, wore a nose ring. Strictly speaking, it's not 100% textually clear that she did. But when Eliezer gives her one and some bracelets in Genesis 24:22, and a few verses later, her brother notices her with the jewelry, and the bracelets are explicitly being worn, I think the reading is much more natural that she just put the jewelry on. And if they're really all about me being godly and following the teachings of the Bible, there shouldn't be any problems with me having a nose ring. That did not persuade them, and things have been a bit chilly since then, although the distance when I went off to university has helped some. Still, my folks have reached out on several occasions, once every other month or so. And most of the time, I'll respond, but usually send back pictures of some sort of image of Rebecca in an icon or something. I have not come home in person since I went off to study. This morning, my uncle called up. I've gotten along better with him than most of my family, and he asked when I was going to stop being childish, and that while I have every right to keep my distance from my family, I should either say I don't want to have much contact and stick to it, or push for a reconciliation. And that sending passive-aggressive and catty pictures like this was just stirring up trouble for no actual benefit, and that I should stop. I have a lot of respect for my uncle's opinions, and maybe I shouldn't keep this going. On the other hand, my parents make me so steamed about making such a big deal over such a minor thing, and they still have never actually admitted they've done anything wrong, just that they're sorry it created a rift between us. Have I pushed this too far?